All right, next I'd like for Jack Zuckerman to come up, and he will toast our next recipient, Peter Thornton.
Turn it this way. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be back in Chicago. We have a lot of memories about Chicago, and Pete and I have had a lot of fun. Pete started Failsafe in 1979, and in 1993 sold the company to Cooper, one of the great mistakes of the century. But in fact, I asked him, I said, Pete, how did you feel when you sold your company to Cooper? And he said, well, Jack, it was like seeing my mother-in-law drive over a cliff in my new Ferrari. Mary Jane, I'm only kidding. After Pete sold his company to Cooper, he and I got together. And he said, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do. I said, let's you and I go to Hanover. So Pete and I went to Hanover, Germany, and we looked at some stuff, and I said, you know, Pete, that's the stuff I'd make if I had your money. And he did, and he became very successful as an entrepreneur, and I'm very proud of him. But let me tell you about Pete the man, which is a hell of a lot more important than the lighting man that he's become. There was a time when I had a little problem. Pete flew from Chicago to Los Angeles to calm me down and to talk to me about certain things. And it was very meaningful to me. And he and I have had a relationship for so many years that it's like being, you know, part of the family. Somebody asked me tonight why I have a walker. It's because Bill Warren tripped me when we were playing racquetball. Because Bill's the only guy I know in here who's older than I am. But I want to say to Pete that we're very proud of you. You've got 600 employees you keep busy. You're an institution in this industry. And more than that, you're a fine man with a lot of morals. And I'm very proud to present you to this group. Pete?
Thank you, Jack.
You know I love you.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you. Okay.
How about this guy, 88 years old, flew into town last night, wanted to go to Gibson's for dinner. He said, you know, Pete, it's been 25 years since I've been here. So he and his wife, my wife, Mary Jane, and I went over there and had a great time. And, of course, his sidekick, Ben, was there also.
Thank you.
Well, being an honoree tonight, I guess, first of all, I have to thank my wife, Mary Jane, who has stuck it out with me all these years, you know, back driving the pizza truck back and forth from our little office in 971 West Montana when we started the company. In the winter, it was a little testy because we didn't have a heater in the thing. But those were the days. They're priceless, actually. My 5 children who have been with me in this endeavor, in starting Focal Point, they're the ones who really should be up here getting the award. They have done a fabulous job. They have created a model for entrepreneurs and that want to go into the lighting business. They've just done a beautiful job. My agents, who many of them are here tonight, who've created this business helped us create this business for ourselves, that it's just, it blows my mind. I've been relegated to chairman. They haven't gotten me to emeritus status yet, but they're working on it. I can tell. But anyway, I just walk through that plant and see these people every day, and I just have to pinch myself. Randy said something. He said, go back in time and discuss, some of the challenges that you had. And I'm looking at John DeLorto. He remembered quite a few of them. Chris remembers quite a few of them. But I have one that is unique to this industry. I was on a sales trip to Miami, and I called the office. I didn't carry cell phones at that time. And we had just embarked on building lighting for the penal institutions throughout the country. And at that point, we had, I think, approximately 6 maximum security penitentiaries and a couple of jails. Yeah, one of them was yours, and that'll be the last one we'll talk about, San Quentin. And we had done the lighting and the cell lighting. I called the office, and they said, they want to talk to you. And I said, oh, what's up? And they said, oh, you got to talk. He said, we're getting calls that the paint is falling off the fixtures. I said, really? They wanted to know if we were painting over rust. Now, at that time, we never had our own finishing department. So we had an outside vendor. Well, the long and the short of it, we had to come up with a solution to paint or replace fixtures in occupied maximum security cells. Think about that one. Well, we found a common denominator, and believe it or not, it was cigarettes. A warden told me at that time, if you can't give them money, we have all the labor that you would need. We can't give them money, but what we can give them is cigarettes. So we bought cases of cigarettes and passed them out to these guys all over the country. We had virtually, I can go down the line because they're etched in my brain forever. Deer Lodge, Montana, Macon County Jail, oh God, just go on and on. And what we would do is we would send out a complete duplicate of what they had, take it back and have it stripped and then refinished. And luckily, we were using the same product in each jail cell. Well, if you don't think that keeps you awake at night, because if we had failed, I wouldn't be here now, the company wouldn't exist, and it would have been a different ball game for all of us. But those are the kind of challenges that you go through, and you try to come up with the best solution. And in that case, we did. San Quentin, though, I felt very bad because we had sent a letter and we had notified the warden that he had a cell block that the paint was peeling off. And you remember that. So we called the warden and went out there and to see him. I said, I hate to tell you this, but those fixtures that I sold you, the paint's going to fall off. And he said, Thornton, come with me. And he took me down to the cell block, which if you don't think that's a scary situation, going into the cell block in San Quentin, he said, look at these fixtures. And I couldn't believe what I was looking at. They had only been up for probably 2 or 3 months. They were painted purple, green. The lenses were smoked because they were too bright for whatever they were doing in their jail cells. And he said, who gives a damn if they turn to rust? And with that, I walked out of there and I said, boy, that's one bullet we dodged. Anyway, that was my Randy, that was my little story. What concerns me about this industry, if you pick up the Wall Street Journal today, this gentleman here has an article that hits it and nails it right on the head. We're in trouble. Whether you want to believe it or not, our companies are all in trouble in the United States. And we've got to do something about it. But I'll let you read the article, and you can make your own decision. Well, you know, old guys can go on, and Randy, we can go on and talk all night. But anyway, let's let the rest of the honorees come up and get their award.
Peter Thornton.